So it's January, earlier this year, and it's snowing tonight. And I called my son to ask him to let the dog out. And out of the corner of my ear, I can hear, the corner of my periphery, whatever, I can hear, he lets him out the back door. And I say, Mason, did you let Ralphie out the back door? He said, oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I quick come running, and I look out back, and sure enough, Ralphie has peed on my smoker again. So Ralphie is our English Bulldog. We did not always have a contentious relationship where he liked peeing on my things. When we first got him, he was great. Got along well with us. Much like the fellow before, we had developed a voice for him. The voice was, somewhere between Eric Cartman and George W. Bush, and every expression on his face or, weird cockeyed glance that he would give us, we would verbalize that and turn it into something. And, things only really got bad about 5 years ago. I guess my wife had this. Ralphie was the second dog my wife had. Her first dog, when she was a little girl, was named Lady, and then her parents told her they weren't going to get any more pets. So, anyhow, I guess about 5 years ago, we moved from our first house into our current house, and the anxiety of odd people and odd smells and things being moved around, Ralphie didn't like, so he started to mark his territory in the house, which is not something you want when you're trying to sell a house. And he and I think when we eventually moved, everybody thought, oh, well, this is just a habit that he's picked up. But I knew that he had learned his lesson and was just kind of getting back at me. Because the other thing about Ralphie is, if you know anything about English Bulldogs, they have tons of health problems. And you really have to stay after them and take care of them. Ralphie used to get all kinds of things and folds on his face, and he had this dew claw, like the thumb on the left paw, that was like a shepherd's crook, and he protected it like Samson protected his hair. And the one ear, he had like earwax coming out. And so when he would see me coming with Q-tips and tissues, and I'm as disgusted as you are, his only defense was to go and hate pee on my stuff. So anyhow, that's the kind of relationship that we had. So that night, when Mason let him out the back door, and I went and I looked out, and the snow was there. It wasn't yellow, it was red. And so I said to my wife, hey, this is going on. And she said, well, I'm going to take him to the vet, you stay with the kids. So I stay with the kids, and she comes home, and he's got cancer. So the best we can hope for is like 3 months, with a procedure and medicine and all that other stuff. I mean, he was a great dog, 12 years old, so we decided, we're going to say our goodbyes. So the vet says, you can stay with him to say goodbye. So I said, I'm going to do that. So I'm saying goodbye. So I'm in there, and they give the dog an injection, and he's like calming down, and I see some schmutz on his face, and I go to wet him up, and he like quick jumps at me just to let me know that he's still the boss. But eventually he calms down, and he lets out this yelp, like I had stepped on his foot, only it's slow and very considered. And I regret it was all those years of giving voice to his emotions. I thought he was saying, I don't want this. And it's not. And he passed. So, days of crying. And we get, I grew up Catholic, so I, have this guilt thing. So I get this email from Cora, and it says, what's the worst feeling in the world? So I look at it, you know, and of course this website where people go and answer questions and vote them up or whatever, and the answer that's there is the worst feeling in the world is not being able to say goodbye. And I show it to my wife and she says, oh, well, that's the reason my dad never wanted to get a dog again, because he always regretted not being with Lady when she was put down. And so it's been about 6 months since Ralphie, we said our goodbyes. He was in a box in ashes.